today we are doing a fun video that I've actually been wanting to do for quite some time.
Yes.
It's actually a Morphe versus Jeffree Star video. It's in no way shading Morphe or Jeffree Star. We love Morphe, we love Jeffree Star. I was actually gonna see if I could borrow your Jeffree Star shirt because of this video, but then I totally forgot and put this on instead. But we want y'all to know that like this is just for fun.
Yes.
We're just kind of putting some of the products against each other to see which works out better.
Right.
I just don't want to get hate for this at all.
No, because we love both of them.
Yeah.
So
I do want to quickly mention and say that I know he's never gonna watch this video, but we are so sorry to hear about his dog daddy passing away. And we're just so sorry for your loss. I know you'll never see this, but still, I just can't imagine like losing one of my little puppies. So
that is so hard because they are a part of your family. I mean, they are your family.
Yeah.
So sorry, Jeffree. All right, so we are going to do half of our face in Jeffree and half of our face in Morphe, and then we will kind of compare how the two, how they compare, how they,
against each other,
measure up.
Yeah.
Yes. So before we actually get into this, we want to remind you to go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We would love that, and hit the post notification bell so you're notified each and every time that we upload. Because we do a lot of fun videos and some reviews and some unboxings and some challenges. I mean, we just do a lot of different things.
Yes. We're going to start off with concealer. So we have the Jeffree Star Magic Concealer, I think is what it's called.
That's what it's called.
But there's not like a name on it, so I don't know for sure. And then this is the Morphe, I think it's from the Fluidity collection. So we're going to, the shades are not going to be
they're not going to
I think we both have the same shades. So this is what they look like. So they are going to be kind of different shades, but we're going to be testing kind of the formula against each other. We've obviously tried these concealers and stuff. We're just trying them against each other now.
Right.
Just to see how they measure up.
All right, so we are going to be doing Jeffree on the right side and Morphe on the left.
I feel like I put the same amount, like I tried to do the same amount on each eye, and I feel like this really like stayed pretty like, what's the word, pigmented, and it didn't blend, like it blended out obviously, but it didn't blend into nothing almost, and this kind of blended more into nothing.
I will say I did do less on the Jeffree side because I know, and I just simply because I use Jeffree quite a lot, and it doesn't take near the amount to cover pretty much the same. So I did kind of not use the exact same amount.
I wanted to use the same amount just to give them a fair try against each other, I think I might go in with a little bit more on the Morphe side and see if I can kind of build it up, and I might do just a touch more right in the inner corner because I do have a little bit of darkness still peeking through, so I will do that just because I want my makeup to actually turn out good today. So, but before I actually do that, I'm going to mention the powders that we're going to be putting against each other, just because I want to be able to set immediately, so where there is no creasing. So we have the Morphe Bake and Set setting powder, and we bought this especially for the video. So we've never tried it. We don't know how it's gonna work. We don't know if it's gonna have flashback or any of that stuff. I sometimes just don't really love trying stuff on camera because I'm like, if it doesn't work out, then that's gonna be a bad look, So
I can't imagine Morphe's not working out though. I mean, Morphe has really great products.
Yeah.
But
But some products just don't work out for you.
Yeah. And then we have the Jeffree Star loose powder. We got the shade Fair. His packaging is incredible.
It's so good.
Incredible.
Like, he puts so much thought and time and all sorts of stuff into his packaging, and
I love that it has the little twist where you can actually close it off if you're traveling. Then you don't wind up with all your powder in the lid.
Didn't we get translucent? I don't think we said the shade. Yeah, this is translucent.
Oh, okay.
I feel like this is brighter. For this to be the shade Fair and this to be the shade Translucent, I feel like this should be
lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more yellowy, which is so weird.
It is a little bit more yellowy. But I feel like Jeffree's is just a tiny bit more finely milled.
But this is very finely milled.
It is very finely milled.
Like,
both of them are
more finely milled than like Codier Spun or our favorite from Shop Miss A.
But I do feel like that Jeffree's is a little bit more fine.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So, yeah. We're going to let that sit for just a little bit.
All right, we're going to go ahead and wipe off our bake. One eye is definitely much brighter than the other.
Definitely.
So, but it's just shades, not necessarily, the products. I feel like this eye looks so much drier. Look at that.
It does.
It looks so much drier. Like, it dried out my under eye. Like, I look scaly over here. Like, over here is so smooth and, like, filtered looking. That's one thing I love about that powder is it's very filtered looking.
Do you see the difference?
That looks scaly right there, actually. And it doesn't over there. But that's your Morphe side, isn't it? Yeah, that's your Morphe side. Your Morphe side looks better.
I don't think so.
Right there, you look scaly.
But it looks scaly here.
I feel like it looks more scaly over here.
Okay, well, I'm not really a good, because I have wrinkles.
I mean, but that kind of, it could go to show that, like, different ages, different skin types and stuff like that work differently with different products. All right, we're going to go ahead and do our bronzer, blush, highlight, and brows off camera to save some time. I don't even know I don't think Jeffree has bronzers. I could be wrong.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
And I don't know if he has blushes. I know he has highlights, but to find probably a Jeffree Star highlight and a Morphe highlight that match would probably be a challenge. And then he doesn't have brow products. So.
Right, so we're going to go ahead and do all that off camera. I'm going to be using the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and the NARS Cheek Color, and I am going to go ahead and use a Jeffree Star highlighter.
So I'm going to be using the same bronzer. I'm going to be using the Pretty Vulgar blush in the shade Make Them Blush. It is my favorite. And then highlight, it's all mixed together. You can't buy it anywhere. Yeah. It's literally my favorite.
And I'm jealous.
And I'm going to be so sad whenever it's gone. I think if I ever were to create a highlight to like with a company or something, it would be literally this shade because I'm in love with it. And then obviously I would hope I could create several to match different skin tones because I know that would match everyone. So next is eyes. We have two different Morphe palettes. We have the 15N and the 35O palette. We're going to kind of try to pull from both of these to try to match some of those shades. Not all of them are going to match. They're not going to be perfect.
I do have to say, Jeffree Star's, the colors that he creates are not like any other. I mean, this is absolutely beautiful.
And this is just so neutral. But it's a neutral palette.
But so. Yes, I mean, it is a neutral palette. Like this sugar cane right here, the second one over, it's kind of a taupey color, but it's got like a pink undertone. And so I wanted to use that, but there's like
no
nothing.
Similar color in either of these palettes, which these are both like neutral palettes.
They are, but
so,
I mean, he does an excellent job in creating his own spin on
shades.
color.
Yeah. So there aren't base shades that are similar. Like the one shade that I would use in that is Glucose, which is like straight up white.
Really white.
And then this one is more, if I can show you, this one right here is more skin tone color.
Kind of
so
a cream.
I guess technically you could use them, we could use them both because they're just base shades,
Right.
but I'm just gonna use one. It's just a base shade anyway.
Right.
And at least then that will match. And if everything else doesn't, then
we'll go from there. So the next shade that we're going to use, I think we're doing the same thing. We're going to use Cake Mix right there.
we're not doing the same look.
No,
but we're doing the same shade right now.
Shade right now.
And then we're going to go in with this shade as well for the Morphe side and hope that they match. So.
To kind of deepen up the outer corner, maybe fill in right along the lash line, I'm going to be using Intravenous, and in this palette, the Va Va Voom.
In the Jeffree Star, I'm going to be using this shade, which is called Ouch, and I'm going to be using in the Morphe palette, this shade right there. So let's hope they match, because the first ones didn't match very well.
I'm going to be using Extraction. It's kind of a purpley color. I'm going to be doing this on the lid and hoping that it's not too dark. And for the Morphe, I'm doing the Cliche right there.
And I'm gonna basically do what she just did with the whole, what's the word, Intravenous and Va Va Voom, just on the outer corners. Alright, so I know that these shades are going to probably end up looking different. But I am going to go in with this golden bronzy shade called Donor, and also this more golden bronzy shade from Morphe. This one just does not look as intense and as pigmented as that one, so I already feel like it's going to look much different, but I'm going to
try it anyway.
Try it out. This will be like the only shimmer that we pit against each other.
Yeah, because I'm not doing a shimmer.
So
I am going to go and line my eyes with the Intravenous and the Va Va Voom.
You know what?
They are very similar.
That's giving Jeffree a run for his money. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and quickly run Intravenous. That's such a, what does that word even mean? Like, I need to look it up or something.
It is like in the vein. Like whenever they draw blood, they draw it intravenously. Or I guess if you do heroin, you're doing it intravenously.
Interesting. I guess you learn something new every day. So I'm gonna go in with that shade and Va Va Voom underneath the lash line, and then my look will be complete. We're using mascara now. Obviously there's no Jeffree Star mascara. I don't even know if there's, does Morphe even make one? I don't know.
Leave it in the comments below. Let us know.
But
you might want to try that.
I'm gonna go in with the Lash Blast.
Where did you get that?
I'm gonna go in with the It Cosmetics Lash Blowout.
And I'm doing the Thrive.
So here are our completed eye looks. I'm actually like shocked. I was just telling her when we were putting on our mascara, I was like, for these to be three completely different palettes, two different brands, they look so similar.
They do. There's a tiny difference in a couple of the colors.
Yeah.
Tiny.
And I will say, the first 2 shades that I used from the Morphe palette and the Jeffree Star palette, I was more impressed with Morphe. Then whenever I got to like the Inner Venus, I liked that shade blending out that on the outer corner. That blended out a lot easier. I obviously like the shimmer shade of this one much better because it is a lot more glimmery, a lot more shimmery. This is just not as out there as this one. So, but they're so similar. Like literally, you can barely even tell.
I have to say, based on the shades that I used, all of them, the Jeffree Star was more blendable. The Morphe seemed a little bit more dry. Like the shade, the actual formula of the shadow seemed a little bit more dry on those things. So it was a little bit more hard to blend on the Morphe side with the shades that I used. So I liked the Jeffree Star better.
Alright, so we have a Morphe lipstick in the shade Virgin, and the shade that I have, the Jeffree Star shade that I have, is Mannequin, and it is meant to be like an actual, like these are supposed to actually be dupes. So I'm going to be testing the like formula as well as the shade to see if they're very similar, to see if you can get, you know, a similar look. Like you can get a similar look with the eyes, but at the same time, like we had a lot of trouble picking shades that would actually match. So if you're wanting similar eyeshadows to the Blood Sugar palette, like you're just gonna have to get the Blood Sugar palette, because you'd have to get like this palette that has this shade and this palette that has this shade, and that would just end up costing a lot more than just getting the Blood Sugar palette. But a lipstick, if it's the same shade, it's the same shade.
Exactly.
But the formula could be very different, and this might not last as long, which means that you would have to reapply throughout the day, which means that you would go through it quicker, and you'd have to repurchase it quicker.
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff like that that goes into products as well that I don't think people really think about when purchasing, because if you have a long-lasting lipstick, you only have to apply it at the beginning of the day.
Exactly.
It's good. You don't have to check on it. But then products that you have to reapply, you're going through it quicker.
Then you're using it. Yes, exactly. So I'm going to be using the Jeffree Star Celebrity Skin.
So, I'm going to go ahead and say, first off, not including wearability, I've never had a Morphe lip. I don't know if they wear very well. I like the feeling of the Morphe lip, and I liked the coverage of the Morphe lip better than the Jeffree lip, because they have very similar formulas. I feel like the Morphe is a little thicker, a little more pigmented. It goes on more pigmented, whereas the Jeffree, I kept having to build up. Or like keep layering. It's not like I had to dip back in and put more and then dip back in and let it dry and all that. Like I just kind of, you know, had to keep going over the same area, whereas with the Morphe, I just kind of like one swipe, it was fully covered. You couldn't see my lips. As for the feel, when I do this, you can... There's a little bit of tacky on the Jeffree
Star,
whereas the Morphe is just very silky. Like you don't feel it as much.
You don't feel the Morphe basically at all. But yes, I mean Jeffree's does have a little bit of a tackiness,
which I actually prefer the feeling of the Morphe versus the Jeffree.
I don't mind the Jeffree, but
I don't mind it, but I would just prefer a more silky, like lip-like feeling, if that makes sense. And I feel like
Jeffree's does feel a little bit more heavy.
I feel like that's a very similar feel to me. I just don't. When you have two different lipsticks
it is so strange.
It is very strange, and you can like really feel the differences. And I've never realized how much tacky it felt.
I haven't either
until putting something on beside it. That's not to say that his lipsticks are bad in any way, shape, or
I
form.
love
They're
his
really
lips.
good.
They're
You
my
swear
favorite.
by his.
Yes.
And they last all day on you.
Yes.
I personally don't think that they last better than some of my others. I have Joseph Colors. I really like that one. That really lasts. I have Galactic. Those typically last. I mean, if you're eating a bunch of food, especially greasy food, they're not going to last.
No, they're not. And you're going to have to retouch.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean...
I'm excited to see if the Morphe lasts, though, as well as the Jeffree Star, because if that's the case, I would 100% recommend Morphe over Jeffree Star. And I hate to say that, but, like, kind of true.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like everything else, concealer, powder, even the eyeshadows, I would recommend just getting Jeffree Star, because the concealer was better, the powder was better,
the formula on most of the... Yeah.
The palette is overall better, but it is more expensive. It is more high-end. It should be better. But the lipstick is, like, really...
Close.
It's really close.
I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do a full day wear test on it, just because it doesn't completely match. It's not a dupe for the celebrity skin. So,
and in case you can't tell, I do think that it's a dupe for the mannequin. Yes. For sure.
So we've got some errands to run and stuff, and so I don't know that I want to go out.
We also have a video to film.
Yes,
so
we do
you're
have
definitely gonna have to change your lips for that. Otherwise, people are gonna be commenting like,
"What is wrong
with
your lips?
Why do you have different color lipstick on? What is going on?" So if you see that video, well, actually, I think that will be up first. Yeah, we're filming a mukbang, which will have to go up first. So if you haven't checked that out, go ahead and check that out, because I already know it's gonna be a fun video.
Mukbangs are...
I really don't even know
how... so much fun to film.
Yeah, they're so much fun to film. They're so much fun to just kind of like watch back and stuff like that. So we'll have that up that you can go watch.
So that's going to be it for this video. We'll have a couple of videos linked right over here. The subscribe button is right down here, and don't forget to hit it. Until our next video. Bye!